Having a charming accent, being socially awkward, and having our monocles drop into our cups of tea at the slightest shock is what is expected of us Brits. However, things aren't always so reserved. Welcome to WatchMojo UK, and today we'll be counting down our picks for the top 10 British celebs who caused chaos in America. Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. For this list, we're looking at times that Blighties rich and famous have gone across the pond and caused mayhem, from drunken mishaps to angry tirades. We are excluding any serious legal issues from this list, so we won't be including the arrest of and charging of Sid Vicious for the murder of Nancy Spungen. On that depressing note, let's get to the list. Number 10, Hugh Grant.
Is that bad? And he said, oh, that's not great.
The 1990s poster boy of stuttering English charm was caught, let's say, with his trousers down. Caught in the act with Divine Brown in Los Angeles, Mr. Grant's actions caused a media frenzy and were a far cry from what he portrays on the screen.
Hugh Grant was seen by officers from the Los Angeles Vice Squad picking up a known prostitute.
Eventually ordered to pay a fine and attend an AIDS education program, the actor got off lightly, so to speak. After an awkward apology on The Tonight Show with Jay Leno, the heat started to die down.
What the hell were you thinking?
Number 9. Cat Stevens. In no way is this chaos of his own doing, but back in the early 2000s, Yusuf Islam, who started out his musical career as Cat Stevens before converting to Islam, was at the very centre of a whole lot of fuss. He was on board a flight from London to Washington, but after officials heard he was, the flight was diverted to Maine and held for 3 hours until he was removed and ordered to leave the USA for suspected ties to terrorism. His travel ban has since been lifted, but that doesn't make up for the mayhem it caused. Number 8, KSI.
I think it's time. I think it's time for us to finally be in the ring and me to get my W.
In recent years, YouTube fame has translated into real-life stardom, and you needn't look any further than this young man. In 2018, KSI took on YouTube star and generally unlikable bloke Logan Paul in a boxing contest in the Manchester Arena, a fight which would end in a draw.
How are you feeling about it?
Excited, very excited. I can't wait to get in there and just knock him out.
But in 2019, the blood feud resurfaced, this time with KSI taking the fight to the Yank in the States, where he was able to vanquish the beast with a split decision victory. KSI caused an impact in America with his victory, and even called out Canadian sweetheart Justin Bieber while he was at it.
No, because Justin Bieber, I'd destroy him. There's no point. It'd be nothing.
Number 7, Russell Brand.
Dedicated question. Messiah Complex, that's the name of your tour?
Yes.
Do you have one?
No. It's a mental illness.
Granted, this guy's not exactly a wallflower, and boisterousness is certainly part of his repertoire. But his 2013 appearance on MSNBC's Morning Joe was difficult to watch even by his standards. Promoting his Messiah Complex tour, seemingly rather apt for this entry, he berated the interviewers, shouted at the newsroom workers, and made casual remarks about the anchor's low-cut dress.
I have no idea what he's
It's best you focus on your driving, Brian. You're a man, you don't want to be distracted by humour, you might crash into a pedestrian.
Okay. So it's a good thing.
Although the interview itself wasn't very well put together, his patronising and inappropriate behaviour caused ripples of discontent, and it was bloody hilarious.
It's experience. It's just sort of taking it all in.
You are talking about me as if I'm not here and as if I'm an extraterrestrial.
Number 6, Gordon Ramsay.
And what position are you?
The number 1.
You're the number 1?
Yeah.
With that
One of the only professional chefs in the world who will cook you a souffle and immediately tell you to F off, Ramsay has been causing chaos in America since his kitchen nightmares made it to the States.
Huh? How old is that salad? Take it back before something jumps out of there. I'll just taste the crab cake.
Okay.
I mean, it's rotten, that, no?
Yes.
You can guarantee at least one explosive argument per episode, as the world's angriest footballer turned cook screams his way across the land of the free, featuring some angry confrontations that often boil over. It doesn't stop there. His insults and tirades on Hell's Kitchen have become viral to the point he has even parodied himself. Idiot sandwich, anyone?
What are you?
An idiot sandwich.
Idiot sandwich what?
An idiot sandwich, Chef Ramsay.
Number 5, Ricky Gervais.
Just looking at all the faces here reminds me of some of the great work that's been done this year by cosmetic surgeons.
Following on from his 2010 hosting performance, the star of BBC's The Office went on to host 3 more times. Arguably his most chaotic moments during the Beverly Hills-based event came during his 2016 stint, in which he single-handedly managed to offend half the room and most of Hollywood, including this aimed at Roman Polanski.
5% of all their priests have repeatedly molested children and been allowed to continue to work without punishment. Roman Polanski called it the best date movie ever.
The peak of his chaos, however, involves Mel Gibson, whose drinking was targeted by Gervais in 2010. In 2016, he carried it on and even brought up the Australian's alleged sexist and racist comments.
And I blame NBC for this terrible situation. Mel blames, we know who Mel blames.
Number 4, Piers Morgan.
To blame the Second Amendment?
Let's have a debate.
A false flag?
Alex.
To blame the Second Amendment?
I get accused.
Why'd they blow up Building 7 down the street here in New York?
Not content with ruffling just the British public's feathers, the Sussex-born journalist embarked on a one-man mission of chaos across the United States to make sure his voice spanned the globe. Landing his own CNN show, Piers Morgan Live, was a perfect way to start, and his 3-year stint was full of controversy that eventually saw him axed.
I'm not. I'm not in the 1%? Of course I'm not. How can I be in the 1%? Because you're worth millions.
Arguably, one of his most infamous moments was the explosive on-air spat with conspiracy theorist and gun advocate Alex Jones, which led to the latter leading a petition to have Morgan deported.
1776 will commence again if you try to take our firearms.
Number 3, Ozzy Osbourne.
Ozzy?
The nickname, the Prince of Darkness, carries a promise of certain chaos, which the man whose real name, John Osbourne, certainly delivers. Biting the head off a bat is pretty extreme as far as acts of rock and roll go, but he went a step too far in the early 80s when he relieved himself on the Alamo Cenotaph in Texas, a 60-foot monument honoring the many Texans who died there.
They wouldn't ban me for as long as I did if there was just nothing to worry about.
As well as this, his early 2000s MTV show provided us with a window into the bizarre life he lives in the US, full of dogs, shouting and swearing.
It's kind of like a freako.
Number 2, the Rolling Stones.
Do you mean sexually or philosophically?
Both.
In 1969, the Stones arrived in California to play at this free event, but things ended in tragedy. It was chaotic from the start and was heavily guarded by members of the notorious motorcycle club Hells Angels, who had bizarrely been hired as security for the event.
People get weird, and you need people like the Angels to keep people in line, but the Angels also, you don't bust people in the head.
Predictably, their methods of crowd control were heavy-handed to say the least, and when 18-year-old Meredith Hunter tried to get on stage, he was taken backstage and fatally stabbed by one of the gang members after drawing a gun. Jagger and the gang escaped by helicopter, leaving the mayhem behind.
Will you cool out, everybody?
Number 1, the Beatles. When the Fab Four from Liverpool hit the United States, they caused millions of people to twist and shout. You might have seen the footage before, of the band being chased down the streets by superfans, but their US reception was a real helter-skelter of chaos. Greeted by thousands of excited fans at New York's JFK airport, Beatlemania had well and truly begun. They soon became a stateside sensation after their televised performances on The Ed Sullivan Show were viewed by around 73 million people, and the rest, well, that's a long and winding road. Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojo UK and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.